Thank you very much!
Free, and you'll see.
Okay. It's like I said, he's always killing me in Fortnite. Dude's always fucking just romping the fuck out of me in Fortnite. I'm trying to like play and shit, and he's all like fucking... It's just unfair.
What you on, Mike P? What you on? Shit.
So I mean, for like that style of rap, he is what he is, you know? I mean, he was what he was. He's always killing me in Fortnite, though. I mean, he's still creeping around killing me in Fortnite and shit. So I just feel like insulting him is just fine, you know? Plus, anytime I was on VR chat, it was always like a point of contention. Anytime I'd say Juice World sucks, a lot of people would be very upset by that. It was okay. The messaging in the song was half lost on me, but I was there for it. It's a very like storytelling but bubbly in a way. I like that fucking slimy guy. I like the slimy guy. No, bitch, be for real. That guy, he's fucking great. But beyond that, Slurm King, who's that guy? Slumpy Dumpy. I think she's out anyway. It's something like that. His name's Slumpy Dumpy. Slime. Anyway, cringy, right? All right. So that might have gotten me a copyright strike. You're welcome though. So it's not bad. And there's a couple Juice WRLD songs out there, where like 2 or 3, where I'm like, okay. But then like, whew, over my head for a lot of them. I like a lot of like 3-6 and shit like that. So, you know, classically trained. Unfortunately, half the songs that I've come to know throughout my entirety have now been sang by some type of, you know, child trafficker or something. Diddy and the gang. So, Diddy and the gang, there was some update on that. I missed that. It was like Diddy and fucking Weinstein and fucking, who's that third guy? Diddy, Weinstein. There was a third person. It was like some Philip DeFranco shit. I'm not here for that. Anyways, fifth song before I really get going. So welcome, and also not welcome, but welcome. And good luck. Good morning.
Clap your hands, motherfuckers!
I'm basically here now. We're just gonna kind of play this one last song just for funsies, and then I'll be snapping right the fuck into it. Hi, welcome to the show. Yeah, I love my dead musicians and shit. Dead musicians. There's a couple that come to mind, but there's a lot out there. Fantastic music. Elliott Smith, yeah, Hari Kari. He fucking killed himself like that. Like, fucking brutal. Very brutal. So you look into, like, why they killed themselves and, like, what their music was about at those times, and it really starts to, like, fuck with your head. So, yeah, I recommend that shit. It's really fun. Next time you're depressed and you want to, like, fucking kill yourself, check out some Elliott Smith. That'll bring you right up. So, you know, at least your dad's not fucking you. Is Juice WRLD actually dead? I have no idea. Isn't he? Isn't he the guy that fucking overdosed on pills or some shit? I thought he overdosed. So, yeah. I thought that was the thing. Bum, 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 bum. So, yeah, you know. Enjoy some music from artists that are still around in some form. Why do I listen to this shit? No copyrights. Let's go.
Say he never died.
Oh, it's like Prince or whatever and shit. Or not Prince, Elvis, or wait, not Elvis. All of them, they're all dead. Yeah. Tupac, whatever other holograms we can think about. Oh dear, what am I to do? Anyway, that's the extended cut. We don't need to be here for 40 minutes. It's not that long, but you heard it. You kind of heard it cut in. This guy down here is like, it's the best version ever. Was it one of the finest extended versions of any song I've ever heard ever? And it's like, dude, did you hear that hard fucking cut in there as it fucking replayed that second chorus again? No, I don't think so. So, fantastic. Electric Blue, tell me what you gonna do. That's not even the lyrics. Fantastic. Great. Fantastic. Welcome to the show. I forget what I've got lined up, but I also remember we are done with music right now. We are done. But I like the idea of this one. But otherwise, moving on. Okay. We do news, we do shit, and we do shit. And today, let's see, what am I representing? We are representing Napkin Americans once more, okay? I like the insult towards, Caucasians, because, like, that's kind of the point, is you don't really have an effective insult against us, because, like, there's not one that the other race has covered with, like, supreme shit, oppression, and slavery for fucking years and years and years. So I'm sorry, black folks. You can try to insult us as much as you want. Like, a cracker doesn't stick. As many years as we've been working on cracker becoming something, it still doesn't stick. It just don't stick, So the worst thing so far is just white. Just saying white with like a hard WH or something. I think that's the worst there is. There's not much out there. Just belittling the fuck out of whites because they're whites, I think, is the strongest card. So Napkin American, cute term. I love it. And we have a napkin lapel or whatever the fuck today. So, yeah. That also being said, Jojo Bo, because, we got some JoJoing to do here. My hair is fucking... There we go. Curled up in my ear and my headphones there. Headphones. I got around the neck Sony ones because I don't like the head shit. I got pretty hair. I got to maintain it. So anyways, here we are. Let's go.
Do you know how to make the furry fandom look really good?
So interview from Fox to a furry. Fox interviewed a furry. Fox News interviewed a furry. I don't know why.
By appearing on Fox News in an interview.
We now turn it over to a real-life furry, David KYScast. All right, David, how old are you?
I'm 32.
Before we begin, this is commentary. It's protected by copyright under the fair use law. The reason why someone would even be talking about furries on Fox News is
this is copyright, commentary, fair use law.
As sex fiends.
Whatever.
As, sex addicts.
Yes.
And this is a restaurant that is pretty close to one of the conventions that we set up every year.
I feel like I've seen this even.
Claimed to be the top 10% IQ-wise out of all of us. So he was obviously a fit to do an interview with Fox News. Who was, as you will see, asking leading questions to make us all look like sex fiends.
Why are you dressed up as a raccoon?
Well, isn't it fun?
For you? You tell me.
It's very hard to impromptu
for you
look like you know what you're talking about against someone who has a script, who's actively, he has an agenda to complete.
The furries, I know specifically, are great at art and dance and theatrical performance.
Wow.
And it all...
It's a bunch of clips.
It all brings with it.
So after making our furry look very dumb, he proceeds to go into sexual territory.
What's going on with the spankings at the furry conventions?
Well,
and
there's
some
a
furries
popular
aren't like
restaurant
sexual
called
like
the
that.
Habra House.
So.
And he's like really getting onto the spanking question right here.
Yeah.
It's customary in Germanic tradition to
and the furries just ignoring
slap
him.
the asses of
okay.
I don't know why.
I didn't know the Germans were into that kind of kink.
And once he's
that's a German restaurant.
I made everyone think, wow, this guy is a real sex fiend. Furries must be like that in general.
I want this down.
He asks,
why do you want kids around people dressed up as squirrels getting spanked?
Me personally, I don't. I think that it's
Yeah, what the fuck?
it's
baited.
definitely an adult-only environment for that.
Okay.
What did you think was going to happen? Why would you go on Fox News when they have the express purpose of making us look like sex fiends? If you have the top 10% of
Furries.
IQ of all of us,
Yeah.
you would not have gone on the interview.
Yeah. You got to do what you got to
Paul
do.
said, don't do it. PR teams exist because people try to make people look bad, and he fell into that.
It's not sexual. It has nothing to do with that.
Okay, you say it's not sexual. That's fine. We have video that proves otherwise.
Welcome to Free Press. You need to be smart about how you speak and how you present yourself.
Okay. Let's see roll the video. Roll the beautiful bean footage. Let's go. What? I want to see the rest of that. Let's go.
You and over of you.
Oh, come on.
Didn't skip
It's one of those videos.
Gray areas that might be
experience. I can't. This is all rather recent. There isn't much in the scope of updates concerning the situation.
Okay.
Vitae remains privated on Twitter. However, the most recent development would come from the business he and his wife own, the Dealer's Den. Or should I say, used to own. Because following this release of Vitae's history, the Twitter account for the Dealer's Den would release a statement saying that the marketplace had parted ways with Vitae, with ownership being transferred over to PAX, also known as
I don't know any of this shit ever,
a
but
previous
that's very
moderator
funny.
for the Dealer's Den Telegram group. It's unclear whether Vitae had been completely disconnected from the group or if he and his wife are still benefiting from the site in some form. But it's safe to say that for some, trust with the website has already been broken, leaving us on a cliffhanger for what will happen next in regards to Vitae. All one can do is wait to see if he'll stay off the internet given this reveal, or unprivate and give his own statement of sorts. But no matter what the choice may be, if that interview was anything to go by, perhaps it would just be best if he were to finally take his poll's advice. Stay safe out there.
Turn it down.
Funding for this program was made possible by...
Thank you. Anyway. Oh, we're not ready for that. President Biden is back. We're not ready for Asmon Chunks yet. We're ready for...
Crime is down in the transit system, but there is one crime category
armed gangs invade New York.
The victims are not only riders, but the police officers sent underground.
So, as our leaders try and reassure us that the subway is getting safer, it's actually getting more dangerous for police, who are now being targeted at greater rates than we've seen in a long time. And if the police are in trouble down here, pretty soon we're all gonna have big problems.
New York City police officers are making arrests in record numbers underground, in stepped-up patrols on the trains, on the platforms, and at the
coffee is running through me.
But as they do, they're becoming
this is already interesting
themselves.
Contributing to the rise in felony assaults is the disturbing and unacceptable dramatic increase in the number of NYPD cops being assaulted, all while proactively patrolling the subway system.
They just need more.
So, like, I'm often, on the internet, and I check out these comment groups on, like, local news crap everywhere. And it's always like, USA is burning down, it's on fire, everybody's killing each other. And it's like, no, our subways are just fine. Our people are just fine. Live in a huge, major fucking big city. Nobody's murdering each other, even though they say we're murdering. Nobody's murdering each other. There's no kill rates here. We're just fine. Hi, folks. Like, we're getting along. We're not dying. We're civil, normal Americans. Thank you very much. Like, very stupid, very weird, this, false shit.
Places for people with mental illness to be able to live in and take their medicine and things like that. We need more help with people with mental illness here.
Absolutely.
I mean, this is some New York shit. I don't know about New York, but whatever.
Suspects in both those recent high-profile cases were promptly arrested, thanks in part to an already heavy police presence in the subway system and an extensive network of MTA cameras. It's these types of crimes riders say worry them the most.
You see how I'm, like, position here so I won't get pushed off the train.
But officers are under orders to enforce so-called quality of life offenses like fare beating. And as they do, they're often confronted by the unstable people who are menacing riders.
Swish. Just go through the door.
With 700 blades being seized on the train so far this year, it makes you wonder just how safe we really are down here. Because what nobody in charge of this place will admit is that all of this points to a subway system that isn't getting safer, but is rather teetering on the edge of collapse. And before we get into what's causing this and why it's only getting worse, we better do it quickly, because if you look around at all the rust and decay down here, it very well could be that this entire place collapses before the end of this video. It's incredibly old, which doesn't make any sense, because not only is this America's most dangerous public transit system,
it would be.
It's also the most expensive. And it doesn't help that the subway is also the full-time residence of some 4,000 individuals the city has left to fend for themselves, many of whom are sadly dealing with mental health issues, but also happen to be armed, making them a danger to themselves and possibly others. And when you add to that an agitated base of perpetual criminals roaming the subway, looking to assault and rob others, there's a level of lawlessness down here that won't disappear even with more police than ever on patrol. And that brings us to the real reason police are now being targeted. They're getting up every day, putting on their uniforms to protect the general public from people who probably shouldn't be down here at all. Because not only do our laws mandate most of the people police arrest be released without bail, they also mandate that anyone who needs long-term mental health intervention be involuntarily committed, but only for a mere 72 hours in most cases, putting our police in an impossible no-win situation, constantly dealing with the same people, even though these are folks who oftentimes have a frightening track record of unpredictable behavior. And sadly, as you're about to see, if the police aren't safe down here, nobody is.
Well, it's mostly just don't fuck with people. Don't fuck with people. See how their heads down and shit? Don't go near them.
So we've been hearing for a long time about how the subway is
go to a
safer
different
than
ticket
it's ever
terminal
been,
to get your ticket.
That's just
if there's a bum
police have been putting
sleeping under
themselves
that
between
ticket
us
terminal.
and the
Go to a
criminals
different
down here,
one.
which reveals something very
if there's one
troubling.
sleeping under both of them,
down
good
here
luck.
still exists. It's everywhere. It's all around us. It's just being drawn
that guy was moving
to
radically.
the officers who are down
you
here
just
to
fucking
protect
chill
us.
out. You
And
just
that's
live.
turned this place
Do
into
your
a
normal
ticking
thing.
time bomb.
This guy can fancy camera, film some shit. He's not getting jumped.
Are up by 152% over the last 5-year period. Attacks are also up on transit workers. The MTA
getting pushed in.
When a normal person sees police down here in the subway, we feel safer. We don't think anybody would be stupid enough to try anything with them around, but as it turns out, that's not the case at all. Cops are out here making arrests, stepping up patrols, actually trying to clean up the subway, but criminals are fighting back. And apparently this has been a trend since 2022, when assaults against police suddenly jumped. And today, 1 in 3 felony assaults is against a police officer. And you've got to wonder, if somebody's willing to assault a police officer, what chance do you or I have if we encounter that person? Not much, and look at this. Although the city insists crime down here is decreasing, there's one particular crime that just won't disappear, and that would be the crime of assault. Assaults are 55% higher today than they were in 2019. And although I'm not sure what other crimes the city is including in its statistics to bring down the overall number, assaults are a crime that most people riding the subway are really alarmed about, and riders are now 50% more likely to have a problem with an assault than they were just a few years ago. And if the crimes that really put people in danger are up, is it safer down here even if the overall level of crime is down? No, it's not any safer down here. In fact, as we're learning, it's possible for overall crime to go down while the levels of danger down here go up. Just ask the police, who are now the victims of a crime wave they're supposed to stop.
But then that makes no sense. And it's only towards cops. So it's towards cops, not the citizens. And it's going up. And then, yeah, we've seen so many videos where it's like the cop gets anything towards them and it's full-on assault. And it's oh, no. They just breathed your direction or something. I don't know. Cops are quick to say oh, you assaulted me. And we're going to throw that on as a charge too. So that happens a lot. It's basically every arrest. If you even wiggle a little bit, they'll be oh, you bumped me. You bumped me. I'm going to charge you also not only with resisting, but also with, hitting me. You hit me. Oh, your foot stepped on my foot when I was pushing you. So when you lost balance, your foot stepped on my foot. That was assault. That was clearly assault. That could be like one or two of the cop cases, just to be an ass to the person that they're arresting or whatever. You never know. You never know. There's a lot of variables out there. You know, cops are great, but also 1312. But the cops are great. Cops are fucking great. 1312. All cops are bastards. No, they're not. They're fucking great. All cops are brilliant. All cops are beautiful. All cops are beautiful. Hey, cab. All cops are beautiful. Okay. Anyways, this one is
arrests are 100% up, especially people being
arrests are up. This and that. So, is the broadcaster going to address at all the like mental health crisis that's been looming this entire since he hit start? He's just been looming the mental health crisis over this. Is he just gonna like say that the subways are crime ridden and it sure does feel dangerous even if the numbers don't say so? And it's like, wait, you're saying that the numbers do say that it is more dangerous and it's not more dangerous? I don't know. It's a very confusing video so far.
Stop for fare evasion,
or am I just stupid, or is this a confusing
some of those
video?
People who apparently got used to the idea that fare evasion was a God-given right, then haul off the cops.
So that's the head of the MTA, and he's shocked that police are now being targeted. But there's a problem with this outrage, because when subway crime affects you or I or any customer of the MTA, he says it's all in their head. But I'm thankful he's not telling the police that the crime they're experiencing is in their heads. Now, obviously, the head of the MTA's in a tough spot. It's an election year in New York City, and he's got to play nice with everybody, both riders and politicians, which has got to be like jumping through hoops of fire every time the news cameras are pointed at you. But he brings up a very frightening statistic. All these assaults on police are taking place when they go about combating a problem progressives say isn't a big deal, and that would be fare evasion, something that costs the city $800 million a year when people go through turnstiles like this without paying. Or these right here, which were actually introduced to decrease fare evasion because the thought was they'd be so easy to use, nobody would jump. If you're wondering, this is one of those expensive pilot programs the city spends its money on instead of hiring more police to keep us safe down here. But we're constantly told by progressives that fare evasion's not a big deal. In fact, these are the same people who believe that all public transit should just be free. But
I have a train in my city, okay? I have a couple trains. We have some trains, okay? So I get on this train, okay? And I didn't pay. It's really sketchy, you know? It's very sketchy. And if there's a cop on the train, you just don't get on. You look at it, right? You stand at the beginning of the platform, you watch the whole train go, and if you don't see any cops, then you go ahead and get on. Okay. Good luck. But if you see one jump on at the next stop, you immediately be standing at the front again to get off and immediately get the fuck off the train. That's the deal. There you go, free ride, at least half the way. It's best to pay. You know, you got to pay your fare, folks. You got to pay your fare, folks. What are some other good tips? If there's an undercover and you suspect, then just stay perfectly still. Freeze like a deer. Don't go to the other side. Don't start moving weird. Maybe just sit down, be normal. Or just freeze the fuck where you were standing. Stare out the window, dead, and good luck. But there's cameras everywhere, okay? CCTV, they're watching you. Big Brother's watching you. So, be aware. I don't know. Purge, look around for fucking used thingies. Anyways.
Studies show that oftentimes folks who've evaded the fare then go on to commit a much more egregious crime once they're inside the subway. And now we hear from the head of the MTA himself that folks evading the fare are also the ones engaging in combat with law enforcement.
So they're trying to say that because you jump the fare, you're you're a really bad criminal and they're really going to get you.
and they get busted, revealing that a lot of what goes on down here is not only not victimless, the victims of those crimes just so happen to be whoever the criminal first encounters.
In 1997, there were 17 felonies a day. Last year, just 6. But officers are under orders to enforce so-called quality of life offenses, like fare beating.
So,
and as they
is it working?
They're often confronted by the unstable.
Is that what we're hearing? So it's working but not working.
So here we go
That's
again
like what
with the
they're
news
saying.
telling
It makes
us that
no
major
sense.
crimes
This makes no
are
sense.
down,
Yeah.
but you've also got this perpetual mass of people who aren't afraid of anybody or anything, and assaults are simultaneously up. And a big component of this nobody's talking about are how overall
mostly 'cause
levels
it's
of lawless behavior
assaults
down
on
here are
cops.
skyrocketing. You've got people sleeping, lounging about on platforms, engaging in disruptive behavior for no reason, and the city just lets all of that go. And although criminal sympathizers don't want to admit it, rampant disorder just attracts more criminals and more lawless behavior, not less. In fact, since we're now punishing less crime than ever before, we're creating an army of entitled criminals. And we shouldn't be surprised when they lash out at the authorities, the one rare instance where they do get confronted about doing something that they shouldn't be doing. And this is going to wear out and demoralize our officers. They can't put up with being the brunt of a crime wave forever. And once they're gone, that crime wave is just going to go back to targeting people like you and me.
Okay. So what's the solution? Do we just lethally inject all bums as we see them? Let's give our cops lethal injections. They can just walk around and.
Isn't that crazy?
Oh, is this
As a
the more
police
than
officer
fifth
in this
time
city,
that we've
it's your
seen this
job
guy here?
today
Okay.
to arrest the same person you
We got
arrested
him.
yesterday for the same thing they did yesterday.
That's humane,
and although
right?
most proponents of law and order
That's fine, don't worry
disagree
about
with
it.
progressives who say criminals
I'm
will
progressive.
learn lessons from this
Okay.
constant
They'll
arrest
learn
and
lessons.
release cycle, the criminals who make
Yeah.
it down here are learning lessons, all right. They're
Yes.
learning how to interact with police and evade them and the limits of their power to arrest and detain someone, which is not what we want. We don't want criminals learning how to evade
They get
law enforcement
emboldened.
and get better at breaking
Yes.
the law. But that's what happens.
This has been an
since
issue
they
for
never
like 20
seem to
years
wind
or
up
so.
in jail for what they do. And the other problem contributing to a sense of lawlessness down here is the fact that New York City's laws handicap those tasked with assisting the mentally ill from actually caring for them. Many individuals down here are in need of long-term treatment, but in many cases our laws mandate
Hey,
people
some people
be
are just down there
discharged from
sleeping. Fuck
facilities
off.
before anything's been accomplished, sometimes after just a few days, which leads to the same people coming back down here to do the same things and engage in the same behavior, contributing to that overall level of lawlessness that we all experience the moment we enter this place. But luckily for people who ride the trains and use the subway in a law-abiding fashion, there is now an ultimate authority figure taking an interest in what's going on down here. And that authority figure would be the federal government, who's now going to step in and force New York City to make some changes down here.
That's where I'm like, so he's just helping to push the like, it's very dangerous narrative.
So the reason so much crime takes place down in the subway is because for years, it's never been anybody's fault that things have been this way. Nobody's ever been held accountable, but
I guess,
that's
like-
about to change because New York City now has to share it.
He's not really saying that the mental people are the problem, because he's trying to say that it's just criminals. It's just criminals in general. There's also just people who aren't, like bums or aren't mentally disabled. There's certain elements there. I get what he's saying overall. So he's sticking to that point. But it's like, okay, I get it. It's just only covering a certain angle. I guess he's not so tilted, but you never know.
It's crime data with the federal government
It's
who
whatever
gives
he's
it money to
presenting
run
us.
the subway. And the federal government's made it clear that if they don't see evidence New York City is taking steps to make things better and safer underground, they might not be footing the bill much longer, which could result in...
So my train also has an airport attached to it at a point. And when you stop at the airport stop on the train, you have guys with fucking AKs and shit at the stop. And there's like 2 of them. So that's it. And they're chilling like that too. They're like, hey, you're supposed to be at this stop, bro? And you're like, no, I'll stay on the train. Don't worry, I'm not even getting off the train, sir. I'm not even getting off the train, sir. Thank you for your service. Like, yeah, that's right. Out of here. Move along. They gun butt you. And you go, oh, sorry, sir. Sorry for even speaking out of term, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. They got some serious shit there.
The MTA that
That's
runs
scary,
the subway
is what I'm
having
trying to
less
say.
money to experiment with different types of evasion-resistant gates, or less money in general to make repairs and even run the evasion-resistant different types in the MTA that runs the subway having less money to experiment with different types of evasion-resistant gates, or less money in general to make repairs and even run the subway.
Was that Bill Burr? Was that Bill Burr? Oh my God.
Of dollars in federal funding
Bill
to the
Burr
MTA
is a
over
criminal.
subway crime. The
Oh
letter
my
from the
God.
Department of Transportation did not include a specific amount that could be cut, but said consequences could include redirecting or withholding.
So the city losing its ability to just waste money on what is a black hole of financial investment, that could actually be a good thing. Now, the federal government hasn't said how much money the city's subway could lose or what they'll end up doing with it. For example, they've mentioned that funding could be redirected and, say, used for only purposes of law enforcement and safety, which would force the people running the subway to find their own money to make desperately needed repairs. Instead of installing bizarre benches like this at stations where many people in the past have been found sleeping. Why else would they build something like this, which you can't even sit down on? Unless it was your mission to waste money on things that don't actually help people who don't have a place to stay. But the most unbelievable aspect of this is, even though everybody knows the subway is not in a good place right now, our leaders are still out there defending it, even though assaults are up 55% in general and up over 150% on police.
I feel like the kid who gets called on the teacher when you actually done your homework.
I don't know.
We have done so much to improve subway safety.
MTA Chair Jano Lieber is seeming to adopt a what me worry attitude about the latest round of threats from the Trump administration. Transportation Secretary.
So I think I'm starting to feel bad for the head of the MTA. Earlier, he just told us how shocked he was that police were now in trouble, but he's also out there telling us he's done everything, so much, to make it safer down here that your head will spin. And I don't want to give him a hard time, but if you went to school and you spent a long time on your homework, but it's all wrong, the effort you've spent doesn't offset the F that gets stamped on your paper. In fact, the only recent safety initiative we can point to is the deployment of more police down here, and now assaults against police are up, so it's not really working, is it? On top of that, service is absolutely
At a point, they're
atrocious.
probably just
You've
even
got
like starting
systemic
shit with the
delays
cops.
pretty
You
much
know?
all the
I've seen
time
that a lot
now,
on
making
these.
it pretty hard for people to actually
cop
see the
shows we look
results
at.
of the $20 billion a year this place gets. On the bright side, officers are doing a great job removing blades from the subway system, and oftentimes they say the people they find with weapons come in through the emergency gates, jump over the turnstiles, and they say that by failing to enforce those types of violations, potentially dangerous individuals are allowed to roam free in the subway. Yet, as we're now learning, arresting people over and over again for the exact same types of crimes is just a band-aid solution at best for a long-term crime problem that's just getting worse.
Ours are just open though, so we don't have turnstiles or any of that shit. You just get on. That's it. It's like a good faith system. So
first priority is public safety.
It works just fine.
She serves more than 1,000.
So it's hard to blame our leaders for having viewpoints like this. After all, we've got mayoral elections this year and a governor's election next year.
I guess
They're
we're
just
not
trying to
assholes,
look and sound their
so-
best. But nobody's out there going after
world
our
has a lot of
laws, which have
assholes.
created all of the problems taking place down here. After all, a system that just arrests people over and over again and doesn't put them in jail only trains those people to avoid arrest in the future. And a system that allows repeat offenders unlimited chances to come back to the scene of the crime will never right itself automatically.
Yeah.
On top of that, all the recent decreases in crime our leaders point to could actually be fake. And let me tell you something, when you're down here trying to use the subway, it certainly feels like they're fake. And look, I'm not defending the officer who got caught doing this, but he's probably under a lot of pressure to come up with numbers that make it look like those that are in charge of him are doing a good job down here. And if you're a cop right now, you're in a lose-lose situation. The people running this city don't want there to be actual solutions because there never have been any. And they greatly dislike the president who's coming to the table now, forcing them to fix the crime problems.
So open all of them, right? Open all the, get rid of all the thingamajiggies, and just have guys with guns. That's it. Get rid of all the turnstiles and just have dudes with rifles. And put the dudes with rifles in the train. Put 2 guys with rifles in each fucking train. There you go. See, they're already here. See? It's creepy shit, isn't it? You're walking around with that, and it's like, okay, don't get at me. I'm not a terrorist group. Thank you.
In America's largest and most dangerous public transit system. And here you are as a cop, you're on the side of law and order, while those who tell you what to do may not necessarily be. What do you think our police are going to do? Are they ever going to be able to stop crime down here without meaningful changes to our laws? And now that the federal government is threatening to take money away from New York City, could we finally see changes that make the subway a safer place for everyone down here, including those who really need help and just aren't getting it? Let me know. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.
Wow. Anyway. See you in the next video. You. Man. Anyway,
The 2 Camp Pendleton Marines were killed after a rollover crash at the border in New Mexico.
What?
The crash happened this morning near the border town of Santa Teresa, not far from El Paso, Texas. Military officials confirmed 2 service members were killed and a 3rd was seriously injured.
Died in a rollover.
The Washington Post spoke with several military sources who say that the incident involved Marines stationed at Camp Pendleton. So this marks the first known military death stemming from the expanded mission to deploy more troops across the southern border. And of course, stay with us here at Fox 5.
And it was just something like, I don't know, fucking around in a car or something.
We begin tonight with breaking news. 2 U.S. soldiers deployed in support of the Joint Task Force Southern Border were killed in a military vehicle crash this morning in Santa Teresa.
Were they just good old boys and going fucking 90 in their goddamn
soldier was also seriously injured in the crash. And hit a fucking whippy. Thank you for choosing KTSM 9 News at 10. I'm Andy Morgan.
And I'm Monica Cortez. Now, this crash happened this morning a little before 9 on New Mexico Highway 9. Now, that's just west of the Santa Teresa Border Patrol Station. Okay. The cause of the crash is still under investigation.
Can we get some eyes out there?
All 3 soldiers were airlifted to a local hospital. Again, 1 soldier remains in serious condition tonight. The name of those 2 soldiers who died are being withheld at this time, while their families are being notified.
Yeah, it's a rollover. It's some good old boys shit. Sounds like. Soldiers, they're Marines. So like smells like joyriding gone wrong. Yep. In my opinion, smells like joyriding gone wrong. Oh, we were going fucking 90. What does the black box say? What did the black box say? They don't have those in Jeeps.
Hosted by Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene.
3 people arrested as protesters disrupt MTG at a town hall.
It was part of her district. Channel 2's Aaron Rodgers is live now in Atworth.
So large.
And Aaron, at times
She's
that
so
get-together really became unruly.
And scary.
Yeah, Wendy, it did, but Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene told us that she still wanted to hold this meeting despite getting death threats because, as you said, she wanted to introduce herself to this new part of her district. But in all, we saw 3 people get arrested, and I even witnessed 2 people get tased.
Nice. Nice, dude. Yes. I just like that kind of shit.
But at times, Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene's town.
What we got going here? Why are they getting tased? Can I see the whole thing?
Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene's town hall in Acworth Tuesday evening was anything but.
Wow.
He was not complying with officers' orders to step out, and he was tased after obstructing law enforcement officers.
Throughout the event, officers ended up escorting 6 people out of the room.
A town hall is information for our constituents.
Oh, dude, that's how you do it, okay? Just walk nice and easy.
And town halls are extremely important. I'm glad they got thrown out. That's exactly what I wanted to see happen.
If you're gonna be like that,
did protest peacefully outside.
It's just making sure that she knows while she's back there giving a speech of air,
that we are going to make sure that she hears our voices ringing loud and clear, because we are coming for her seat.
Inside, the Congresswoman spoke about border security.
That's how things like that work. There, do it like that.
Orders, the
Perfect.
Economy and inflation.
Suck
and
a
as
cock.
the chair of the Doge
Fucking
Committee,
bitch.
cut
And then walk out. That's it.
We are stopping the fraud. We are stopping the waste. When it comes to tariffs, she responded to criticism accusing her of insider trading when stocks fell.
Yeah, you can always walk out of the building. Go fuck yourself while you're going out, before you get trespassed or whatever. You're just fine. Go ahead. You still got freedom of speech in certain cases. Don't say, like, I'm going to come back and murder you or anything. Don't say that. But do say, like, go fuck yourself, you're a dumb bitch. You look like a man. And then just fucking walk the fuck out. That's it. You can, all day. Bitch, do more chin-ups. I should. But,
I don't place my buys and sells. That's something that the
beach
portfolio
body
manager
blonde,
does
big
for me,
built
and he did a
butch
great
bitch.
job. Guess what he did?
that
He
one?
bought the dip.
Big
But some
built
people who live in her
body
district
blonde
say
body
they
bitch.
left unimpressed.
I thought it was an echo chamber, just the same old
Oh, yeah.
repeating lies.
Well, what
and
I don't know
there was no
what to
opportunity
expect from an
talk
underling.
to her.
You're not going to get anything from an underling. We're just out of that one. We're out of that one. I got to piss before we get into this. So let's watch this. Tesla owner breaks window to escape before vehicle catches fire in Vancouver. So your Teslas are blowing up. If there's like an electric cloud that goes over, your life is at risk. You're all gonna die in your Teslas. They're fucking faulty cars. They're broken. They're all blow up machines. So they're blow up machines. Don't blow up in your Tesla, folks.
My car is on fire. You're asking me if I need help when I request service.
So
Okay, bye.
this just happens. Is the thing. This wasn't attacked.
Yeah. That was.
It just did it to itself.
Are you kidding?
Wow.
I kicked through the window because everything stopped.
Yeah.
The power didn't work. The door didn't open. The windows didn't go down. So I'm like, hey, I need to out of this car.
Yeah.
So I just kicked through.
Because you knew it was smoking. Could you smell it in the car?
I could feel it in my
I was gonna kill him.
lungs,
Dude.
man.
You guys should probably get on the other side of the street just in case.
Chromatic ribbon. Goodbye. I'll be back in a second.
Thank you.
I can play some shit music and yeah, I'll be back. Enjoy this. Okay. BRB.
Are you kidding? Wow. Yeah. 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 Because you knew it was smoke. Did you smell it in the car? I could feel it. Thank you. Are you kidding? Wow.
I kicked through the window.
Yeah.
Because everything stopped.
Yeah.
The power didn't work. The door didn't open.
The
windows didn't go down. So I'm like, hey, I need to get out of this car.
Yeah.
So I just kicked through.
Because you knew it was smoke. Did you smell it in the car?
I could feel it in my lungs.
Thank you.
Everything is dead. Expensive though. I had to smash the window.
Are you kidding? Wow. Yeah. 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 Because you knew it was smoke. Did you smell it in the car? Thank you. kidding? Wow.
Yeah, I kicked the window.
Yeah.
Everything stopped.
Yeah.
The power didn't work. The door didn't open. The windows didn't go down. So I'm like, hey, I need to get out of this car.
Yeah.
So I just
Because you knew it was smoke. Could you smell it in the car?
I could feel it in my lungs, man.
You guys should probably get on the other side of the street just in case.
Thank you.
I couldn't even open. Everything stopped because everything's electric. So everything stopped. The door couldn't open. I couldn't put the window down. So I just had the car. I'm just gonna kick through it.
All right, we're back. No, we're getting back into things, folks. We're gonna check out this Comrade Casey video real quick. Comrade Casey made a new video. I don't actually have a stutter. I apologize.
Drama, man.
As usual, it doesn't show too much of his face and does a majority of just a bunch of Ethan's footage. Blah, 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 freedom of speech.
In order to do that, he has to lie and rope.
So, Mr. Kukaka wants to be involved in things too here. So, he's like another self-insert. So, I'm a self-insert as much as this guy is. We're both from roughly the same area. He doesn't even show his face in this one. And that's the only reason I'm covering this. So that's it. You don't speak for this state as a Marxist, Leninist, extremist, blue fucking Hassan stand whatsoever. We don't really like that kind of shit up here. Your radicalized college campuses notions aren't necessary in my region. Thank you very much. So yeah. Blah, blah, blah. You guys can sit here and talk shit about Israel and this and that, but when it comes down to it, there's no understanding of Ethan's like finer humanitarian points or want for that because you have some overall arcing Christian or moose, right? Mooses with the things, with the antlers. Moosei? What is the multiple of mooses? Moose arms? Moose calves? Is it moose limbs? I'm not very sure. But there's some other one of those factions out there that's a little strange about certain things. I think it has to do with like some kind of order of the moose people or something. Order of the moose, right? The elk. Is it something like it's something like that? I think it's Elklims. I think it's like Elkslim. My bad. Don't want to be disrespectful, you know. That lawyer is milking Ethan so hard. No, it's more that, like, y'all are milking Ethan so hard. But it is what it is. I'm going to move along. That's it. That's, like, all you get on here is just a couple minutes where I just talk about your shit. We can go back to my channel real quick where we point out the fact that you frequent Nazi stuff or whatever. Here. Got your Nazi stuff. I don't even remember which one it is. It's one of these fucking videos, dude. Oh, it's this one. This man registered his email address at the AmericanNaziParty.com. So, I want more Nazi stuff that I can Nazi. Can you help me? Yeah. And they said, yeah, I mean, more the merrier. There you go. Great. So we got dailymail.uk, and then we got like Viagra.com, and then it's like Nazi Party, and then it's like backpain.com, and it's like, okay, so it's all you. It's all you, dude. So, okay, it's good to know. Good to know you're going to that there Nazi website. You know, it's good to see you like that Nazi website. And then he does have me on block, so he has seen me, acknowledged me, and then blocked me. Like a bitch, instead of talking about things like a bitch. So anyways, what's that, Keemstar? What's that? What do you got to say about that, Keemstar? Anyways, I got to boot up so I don't know. I think I had some angle there that I gave a fuck to cover, but now I don't, and I forgot. Let's listen to a cool song.
Moniker you were using at the time. Or did I say that right? Moniker?
Oh wow.
Moniker?
Oh wow. Let's listen to this great song.
Monica's enjoy a good sip of tea. Monica's like you and me. Monica's can't stand up. Monica's want a little bit of sympathy. Monica's feel up close and personal. Yeah. Monica's pissing at the urinal. Monica's walking downtown with a Glock. Monica's smoke you in the spot so versatile. Monica. Sam Cedars moniker. Ethan Klein's moniker. Hassan Piker's moniker. Sean the Black's moniker. Nicholas Yoyo's moniker. Tom Turkey's moniker. Keemstar's moniker. PewDiePie's moniker. Destiny's moniker. Bill Clinton's moniker. Aaron Hansen's moniker. iDubbbz's moniker. Shopspeed's moniker. Kai Sanat's moniker. Airland Chug's moniker. ContraPoints' moniker. Asmongold's moniker. Milkstocky's moniker. Nostalgia Critics moniker. Red Letter Media's moniker. Stuffy Bonnie's moniker. Mr. Beast moniker. Adam McIntyre's moniker. Swoop's moniker. Comrade Casey's moniker. Fogan's moniker. Kermit Defrock's moniker. Miss Piggy's moniker. All these moniker. Love my moniker. Need moniker. Can't wait to see moniker. Monica's enjoy a good sip of tea. Monica's like you and me. Monica's can't stand up. Monica's want a little bit of sympathy. Yeah. Shout out to all Monikers. Monikers say what? You heard me? Moniker. You heard me?
Monocle?
Hey, so
nomenclature?
You haven't addressed the factual accuracy of Brandon.
Moniker say what? Anyways, you like that? You like that video? That's good. That's my video. Hey, go ahead and check out right there. It's the first one. You saw me look it up, right? Yeah, it's right there. First one. All right. You want to see me watch me eat ham for Eid? I'm celebrated with my I have a Teddy Fresh scarf on while I'm eating ham during Eid. Amazing. While I'm watching a Jewish man talk about a Turkish individual while I just nibble and lick. Did you see me lick that ham seductively? I really licked.
Did you like
fucking
Jeffrey?
Tongue filleted that ham. As of now, I do not recall the beat. I remember him talking about drinking at some point. So there you go. Look at me lick that ham. I'm really licking that ham. That's amazing. Wow. What content? What content? I could listen to it again, but I haven't cleared it for copyrights, okay? If it just so happens that Juice WRLD has no copyrights or some shit, maybe I'll play a little bit more on the channel. We'll see, though. I doubt it. We have... this is Concord.
So former Concord dev says that it was gut-wrenching to see our project fail, but urges players not to judge Marathon too soon. To call this game a failure before it's even out is wild to me. Really? Well, it wasn't wild with Concord. It was pretty fucking accurate. So it's actually, like, I think that it's really funny how all of these developers and people want to act like it's not fucking obvious when a game is going to die.
Anyways, so he says what? Some games deserve to be aborted. He is anti-abortion, though, but games deserve to be aborted, but not babies? Come on, bro. Concord is the reason why I'm pro-choice. Really? You're going to go into this? You are pro-choice. Okay. It's good for taking that stance. I apologize for assuming. Marathon looks okay, but the characters are over-designed and not visually appealing. This argument about graphics and shit in a world where strictly only really gameplay matters, and we're starting to get to the point where what was that other game? I forget. There was another game that came out lately, and it was all style over substance. Everybody saw it, nobody bought it. So we're starting to get to that point where your little statement about graphics and shit here don't really apply. And I mean, the last 10, 12 years or so, fucking indies have been strong. So as much as Asmongold wants to take a stance, this is one of his opinions, against AAA and say that AAA is like dying and fading as a thing. I want to argue it never really was a thing to begin with. There's just bigger gaming companies and then like sellout shit titles, and then there's like actual games. Now, a sellout shit company can make an actual game. It's pretty rare. But yeah, most little companies that come up have to make, some kind of truthful, good gameplay game, because that's how you make a beat in the fucking industry. These bigger people in the happy seats, all they got to do is crank out something that's similar each year, and that's where we're in this pool of idiocy. Now, we should have never made a Call of Duty 2. You know what I mean? We should have moved the fuck on. It's just like you never heard of like Aerosmith 2, the Beatles 2. There's no Oasis 2. There's no, these are all old as fuck bands 2. Okay? Eminem 2. There, you want a band name? Just call yourself Eminem with a 2 at the end of it. The number 2. That's it. Wow. You're the sequel now. Fuck, that's actually okay. That's an okay idea. It's stupid. It's dumb is my point. And we should have moved on. And to have more like actual creative artistry out of the new voice of the different band, out of a new gameplay theory, etc. So my first thought was, how have they immediately reworked Concord, the failure, into this new structure, regardless of models, to see if they can make a successful formula? And did they learn anything? Or are they just making another hodgepodge amalgamation of 5 more genres that don't quite work together? Because that's another thing we've been doing for the last, 20 plus fucking somewhat years in there. The less we've been going from just the core genres, the more we see these, shit blend titles that nobody wants to play anyway. So is it really about the graphics? Because you're not selling me on your argument with just that. Because, the best games of my life have arguably shit graphics, maybe even mediocre graphics when they came out, Like Axlay on Super Nintendo is achievable. It's possible. That's really good graphics, kind of, I guess. The parallax bullshit background and shit, that, to some people, that's cool. Final Fantasy, fucking pretty, but not really, amazing. It's not like we haven't been able to do bitmap shit for, since Nintendo, long before, So, whatever. It's whatever. But no, about Nintendo, where we actually had, really nice, backgrounds for our RPGs, little proper squares and shit. You know what I mean? In terms of like world maps and understanding them, looking at them. Like Nintendo had Final Fantasy 1. It looked okay on NES as far as the world map and stuff like that. We didn't improve it too much by, you know, Game Boy and Super Nintendo standards until we really got to like 3D RPGs like Final Fantasy X. Did we really start to see that graphics matter argument and shit? It started with 7, truly, and 7 and 8, because of the polygon argument and how they were arguing that the models in 7 should have been better off the boot since the capabilities of the system. So they made 8 to be like, okay, this is what we were capable of in terms of the models, and then they looked like shit. And then you say, oh, well, 7 looked pretty good compared now. Now, all the HD remakes of 7, or 8, rather, 8, use like different models, use different textures. So, not even the same fucking game. Because it wasn't really supposed to be like that on that system yet. So, anyways, arguments aside, the better games have always been the ones with lesser graphical shit. And then we go back to 9, which just again draws those differently as like a strange polygonal way instead of trying to do that Final Fantasy VIII model bullshit. So, I don't know. You got your positives and negatives and how arts are presented. So it's art, though. At a point, you're talking about the art style. It has nothing to do with the fucking gameplay. Just like this entire branch of my fucking discussion has nothing to do with any of this. The game itself.
Like, I'm sorry, but like people were right about.
I don't know what your point is.
Let's just make a list. Notepad. Okay. Games people were right about. Okay. Number 1, Concord. Concord number 2, Assassin's Creed.
I'm not gonna let it hit that one. The one he's adding right now is false. That one came off as like mid ranges, and it was okay. I mean, Shadows Die Twice, Sekiro Shadows Die Twice wasn't that good of a FromSoft game as well. In that same way, you could place that same game on the same list as this. So we're gonna ignore the Assassin's Creed Shadows that he's adding right now. But he was right about Concord. And I'm right about Battleborn. Do you guys even remember fucking Battleborn? Exactly.
Shadows. Okay, there it is. Let me go back. I'm going to just go ahead and space this out. There we go.
You don't need that.
And Veilguard.
Right.
South of Midnight.
I don't even know what the fuck that
Midnight, Forspoken, Starfield, Avowed, Lost Records, Star Wars Outlaws,
Dustborn. Still being like pushed or whatever.
Nobody cared about that game to begin with, but like, sure, a Flintlock, Unknown 9, living up to its name. People don't even know what game that is. So how is it that gamers don't like? How is it that? Every time that the internet of capital G gamers decides that a game is going to be garbage, it's garbage. Isn't that interesting? How every single time that one of these games comes out and people say it's going to be bad, it's bad every single time.
Dude, well, I mean, it depends, but no, not the fucking... What are you doing? What are you doing? Where is this?
So
stop playing. Stop playing. Stop that. Stop playing. Okay. Right. Battleborn, you guys
look at me, so threatening.
I don't remember the Muslim guy. There you go. Did you remember the Muslim guy?
Teamwork!
And I do remember that guy. So y'all are just playing this game, really. Battleborn is like every game ever that is a failure. message for the developers. We loved your game. Don't ever think of all your hard work passed unnoticed. You made thousands of us happy. Shit. This game would have been way bigger than Overwatch. Instead it died, and look at Overwatch. I need a sequel to this game because it was badass fun. Dude, right? Just say like Battleborn 2. Actually, that's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea. I like that. I like that idea. Just make a Battleborn 2. Ignore that the first one was a fucking failure and take everything about it and just remake it brand new and beautiful. And 40k subs. And I think we'll have it, you know? 7 years ago, folks. Cool. So just redo it, remake it, and it'll be fine. And then put out like less everything. Leave it up to mystery, up to the people to discover and shape their own fandoms and stuff out of the characters. Bring back only the 8 characters that stand out. Scrap the rest of them and let me personally make the other 8 or whatever. Thank you. Anyways, next. I'm not kidding. Let me personally make the other 8 characters. I've been playing games since I was like, I don't know, 1995 or so. And I was trained in by an older generation. I grew up in an arcade warehouse. We delivered jukeboxes around the entire state, me and my father, for years and years. And all I did was play video games while he fixed shit. Yes, we can go over this over here. I have many credentials, okay? I also have many mental problems. No, I'm kidding. I have a lot of ideas, though, and they're pretty good. I have one whole idea. Oh my god, it's so good. Oh my god, I have one idea. It still hasn't been done yet. It's so fucking good. My other ones are being tickled on. I should probably push them out before they become somebody else's projects, but now I'm just psycho ranting. That's good. 4chan
you know this hacked. Video is coming since yesterday, ladies and gentlemen.
4chan
has actually been totally hacked. Yesterday, on April, what was it, the 14th, there was a pretty all-out war on some of the wilder parts of the internet, and 4chan was the ultimate loser in all of this. For anybody that has no idea what's exactly going on, there is alleged source code of 4chan floating around. In fact, you're looking at what is allegedly the source code right here, ladies and gentlemen. So you see that little Yotsuba config.php, Yotsuba being, I believe, a reference to like the 4 petals, the overall like logo of 4chan. Yeah, this is a lot to go through. So let's start from the very beginning, okay? About 17 hours ago on a website known as soyjack.party. So there are 3 actual, belligerents in this warfare, okay? Now you've got, of course, 4chan, okay, which is one of the oldest websites in the history of like, basically the modern internet. It's one of those websites where I guess anything goes. A lot of people mystify it as like, just the group of the internet cesspool, so to speak. Now, of course, 4chan has a lot of wild stuff on there too, specifically in boards like /poll/b. But if you ask me, I usually pretty much frequented, VG for video game stuff, specifically when leaks ended up coming out. And more specifically, the X board, which is known as Paranormal, which is where discussions of really, esoteric, weird, creepy stuff usually is discussed. Now, of course, alongside 4chan and its popularity, there's been plenty of other boards that have popped up too. Some of them far more extreme in their rules and their communities compared to 4chan. Places like 8chan, for instance. Now, of course, the other part of the place where the source code was necessarily acquired and posted was a website that I'm sure some of you know as Kiwi Farms, okay? Now, inside all of this, the actual hacker appeared to be from soyjack.party. Now, for anybody that doesn't know what Soy Jack Party is, it's the Shardy. It's a place that's more wilder than 4chan, okay? Just a quick cursory glance of what this website is for anybody that doesn't know. It is an image board dedicated to the creation, posting, and sharing of Soy Jacks, okay? Now, what the fuck is a Soy Jack? You know those cool little, like, drawings that you see, the little doodles, the little rough faces you see everywhere? Yeah, that's a Soy Jack, okay? And, of course, they post Soy Jacks all the time. Now, of course, the old the Shardy doesn't necessarily appreciate 4chan at all, okay? You can look at one little image over here of an imp jack going, go back to Reddit, 4cuck refugee, okay? So it's not exactly a place that's overly friendly. So about 17 hours ago, one post was made by a user over here showcasing what appeared to be the Team 4chan dashboard, okay? So again, it shows you all the threads popping up, all the tens of thousands of replies, and if you wanted to look into the left over here, you could probably see passes, which I believe are like paid for 4chan passes at this point. You also had like IP ban ranges, everything right here. Janitor applications. Now this is important. Jannies are the moderators on these boards, okay? So unfortunately for them, it seems like a lot of their information really ended up getting what appeared to be leaked. So the closer you look into it, one interesting thing happened right over here. 16 hours ago. Tonight has been a very special night for many of us at the Soy Jack Party. Today, April 14, 2025, a hacker who has been in 4cuck's system for over a year. Sometimes I wonder if my neighbor just hears me scream this kind of shit and he wonders what the fuck goes on in that house. Executed the true Operation Soy Clips. Okay, so what they did was they opened up a board called QA, which is not quality assurance. Actually, it's questions and answers, from my understanding, and QA was effectively shut down, I want to say a couple of years ago, so they brought this up, opening it, and according to the Shardy here, they exposed personal information of various 4cuck staff and leaking code from the site, which I showed you, obviously, in the beginning. In an attempt to control the damage, 4cuck admins have taken all servers offline. But there are unconfirmed reports that the servers have already been completely compromised and may not be up for some time. There have been a flood of refugees from 4cuck onto the Shardy, most of whom are not adjusting well to the culture. For new teens and the few old gods that remain and everything in between, tonight has been a cathartic one. And it really must have been a pretty cathartic one indeed, because, you know, inside all of this information, there was a lot of flood of just unclaimed, unverified, you know, sources, unverified, like, claims that I feel like are also worth addressing into this video. So, for instance, one of the things that was brought up was apparently some of the emails that were leaked, according to the Jannies, the moderators, belong to .gov accounts. Now, .gov obviously belongs to the government, and obviously this I wanted to really get into. Were there people from the government inside 4chan? Wouldn't be a shock to me, because obviously FET posting and, you know, federal agents sort of coming into something and going into organizations like this, and again, like posting around, basically being undercover is not something unknown, all right? It's something that has happened in the past, verifiably
It's vitamin
so obviously
time.
we were wondering how much 4chan was actually, again, centered around, you know, people just being like Fed operators. So I wanted to look at one of these sources for this claim, and I think the source for this claim ended up coming from a board known as Incels IS, right? Where again, they showcased exactly what 4chan had looked like. So on the day of the hack, when QA was opened, you started to see soyjack.party1, hashtag Packwatch, okay? So again, you just start to see literally people posting Yakubs, okay? You start to see trolls, Base Jacks, for instance, you know, little cuck jack with his Nintendo Switch that the boyfriend bought, you know what I mean? It's simple shit, okay? So of course, half the boards over here would have like these admin flares. Lamau, you got hacked. And that's just what happened. So according to one of the users here, did you see that the mods, Jannies, had their email addresses leaked? Lots of edu.gov domains in there. No wonder I've been banned literally hundreds of times from blue boards for racism. By the way, Jannies admit in their ban reports that they target users for not breaking the rules, for saying things that make them seethe. So again, this is apparently one of the bans right here. You will not follow you will not post the following on side of B, troll posts, and again, the reason was calling people slurs do not list, okay? So yeah, it was something that...
Does that make you at all think about the Thomas Cook shit and like how the, FBI, blah, 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 troll accounts, 4chan, blah, 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 why was he radicalized to begin with? And they kind of did seem to know about things beforehand, didn't they? Wasn't there more information released on that? Did they have any more information? Those are delicious. Anyway.
That, again, people were kind of wondering about inside what appeared to be some of the actual discourse for 4chan.
Or like the Antioch high school shooter and how he liked to do on message boards, blah, 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 blah. Anyway.
One of the actual moderators...
I'm not really a fan of Jeffree Star. That's not really my thing.
Started going, obviously 4chan, there's been a hack. The site itself has been halted until we can determine the damages. It's likely that email addresses have been leaked. Seems to be so. Perhaps IPs as well. You'll need to hold on to those email accounts in order for us to do password resets when the site is back up. So don't delete them or anything. So hoping the damage isn't too bad, shit's a little concerning. I used an active email when I applied because I was hammered. Now, if this is true, there's a lot... To give you a tier list of how wild the internet can get, people always say like 4chan's like the darkest black hole. I would say 4chan's of today is less of a wild place as compared to some of the other image boards that have popped up, right? Like 4chan is 4chan. I would say Kiwi Farm's a little bit more of like a cleaner looking website, but obviously... I think they probably have a more they have a more like I would say active, more invested community. But even for a website like Kiwi Farms, for instance, right, which I've talked about when I talked about Keppel's like a year and a half ago, and even a website like that will often tell its users. In fact, it's a downright rule, I believe, of not touching any of the people they talk about or gossip about on the internet.
Yeah.
But Soy Jack Party isn't like that. Soy Jack Party is fucking maximum, like, no holds barred, go do whatever you want on the internet, okay? And pure insanity. Now, the thing that I believe on 4chan is, like, when you're building a new account there, right? Not 4chan, Kiwi Farms. When you make a new account there, I believe one of the best pieces of advice provided is do not use an identifiable email address. So anything that you have public facing, don't use that on their website.
You're fine.
Because if there is a breach or something gets hacked, which obviously... everyone says we won't get hacked until they do. Yeah, you probably don't want your actual email or verifiable identity attached to a website.
That's fine. Don't worry about it.
Usually gets called the black hole, the cesspool of the internet,
Nobody
or one of the
really
most
cares.
evil places,
Why would it
right?
matter? Why would it matter?
But yeah, that's just
Who cares?
basic fucking advice.
Who cares if you're doxxed?
And if the Janies here
why does it
were willing
matter?
to use their actual work business emails, probably isn't going to look that good when people are doing a deep search of you, down the road.
If you're running like that kind of shit.
But of course, over here, I think it's more important to worry about what your email address is connected to. So have you used it for LinkedIn or Facebook or GitHub or Google?
Okay.
Places where people do actual mainstream work from.
That's true, though.
You can set it up to use an authenticator app, blah, 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 blah.
But that's always like use a different
it's just
business
personal
email
information from their
personal
Janie
shit,
applications.
Duh.
That is one of that is basically the biggest nuke for the community, the big gold hijacked from them, right? So obviously I wanted to kind of verify if like this information was kind of true. So again, going back to a lot of that leaked information, which again, it's not really all that massive, but this is apparently big leaks. So what you can look into is something known as admin.php.
Yes.
Which again is sort of like the main, if you will.
Yeah,
and if you open that really quickly, you can see that
yes,
it includes
very fun
Yotsuba configuration file, and of course it contains.
What am I looking at?
All of this code that if you look through,
I literally have no idea.
And you can start to verify like maybe this is 4chan. Maybe you can start to see how the site works and compare it to the source leak just to see if functions are similar.
I have no idea.
So one user, Securitron Linux, actually did end up looking through this code as well. And of course, functions here, for instance, this one reads every single ban that is available right here. This function, for instance, function get ban summary.
I did see that.
Yada, yada, yada. And of course, this 4chan website will not load. Maybe it's good if it was down for good. There are better things to do than shitpost on 4chan all day. Maybe take up a hobby, I guess. And of course, they would look through more of these actuals. This is admintest.php. and so on and so forth. Now, again, this does contain, again, source code of one of the most interesting websites on the internet, and I can't verify if everything is completely true over here, just because, again, when a hack drops like this, and it literally, this is less than 24 hours old, a lot of information just sort of flies at you. But when it comes to a lot of the leaked information that has come out from, again, this whole story...
That's a hot shit you picked up on. Yeah, that's hot poop, dude.
...are those .gov addresses. Like, for a lot of accounts that are coming over here, it's like they're leaking the Janies' Instagrams using the emails that they found. So they were able to look for, again, their Twitter accounts, their DeviantArt accounts, the YouTube accounts, Instagram accounts, and some of them contain some...
That kind of shit, you can find that at, like, Kiwi Farms. They'll do the like posting of their Twitters and their arts and shit.
Some pretty interesting Rule 34 of like furries, I guess, but a lot of it came.
Oh yeah, blah blah blah, null. Yeah.
To again identifying who was moderating 4chan, right? Which is again one of the big cream of the crop moments they wanted from actually, running this hack. Right, this was the big thing wanted from this. The other thing was obviously retribution, that QA board I talked about earlier. Obviously, the Shardy opening that up. Wanted it to, it was just a retribution game, right? It was like, hey, we fucking won in the long run, right? That was kind of how this online hacker war basically worked. Now, if you look around some of the actual images that have been shared of this hack, for instance, the PHP admin panel over here allowed, I guess, people to look at, again, ban requests, the banned users. But what would really have been interesting for me over here was to see, like, maybe they were going to dig out people that were paying them, right? Like in the donations tab, or like, I believe it's the, what would they call it? The 4chan pass, right? I'm wondering if that information is still basically, supposed to come out. This is a whole database of what appears to be 4chan's massive information pool, right? And again, when looking closer into the actual leaked domains, right, this would be a list of the actual, 4chan moderators, right? The Janies. Now, the thing is, I have to block some names out. I think there's one name called Grape Ape here, right? Which... Whew, Griff, wow. And of course, it all links to what appears to be their actual email addresses to the right. And again, if I look closely at each and every single one of these emails, a lot of the domain registrars are Gmail. You got like Outlook.
That's hot.
One person is smart enough to actually use Proton Mail. One person actually does just use their 4chan like .org domain, right? So again, this is... the Janies, the biggest like scare for this are the people that have been moderating the page, if anything, because it seems like for them a lot of their information did actually end up coming out. Now, ultimately, you might be like, is this the death of 4chan? It's not, because if you go to 4chan right now, ladies and gentlemen, just go drop in the actual URL. So if you go to 4chan right now, it actually is a functioning board still. You can go to paranormal, drop that fat accept, and actually wait. I don't think it's active. Hold on a minute. The site's barely functioning. Nice. I'll look closer into it. Yeah, it really does look like images aren't loading over here. Yeah, this hold on. They might have let me actually go to what is it? I'll poll really politically incorrect. Oh my god, I can't access it. Wait a minute. Let me try a different browser. Firefox. Maybe it's just not working in Chromium for some reason. Hold on. Wait a minute. Oh yeah, it's I think it's going through it, boys. I think the site's going through it. Let me actually ping 4chan.org here real quick.
Wow.
Yeah, I think they're going through it. The site seems to be healthy. I'm getting all my responses just fine, but I really do feel like they're going through and maybe fixing up the website for now. Now, obviously, you may be wondering, Bud Muda, how did the Shardy hack 4chan? How did the hacker known as 4chan get completely goat-seed on the internet? Well, there has been some analysis over here, and it really seems like the hack, which, again, this is not completely verified, was due to the fact that there was some actual code, some site functions, specifically in the PHP side of things, where, again, this wasn't entirely up to date.
Because I suppose,
they were running what appeared to be allegedly this out-of-date version of PHP for their entire website, that had a lot of vulnerabilities and exploits ripe for the taking. Now, if you ever have... One thing to tell you is a lot of places on the internet, a lot of websites, a lot of like organizations, as shocking as it sounds, aren't exactly great when it comes to upgrading and updating a lot of their site functionality. Sometimes it can be a little too difficult. Sometimes they may not have the people capable enough to update a website. Some may forget about it. If something works, why fix it? But obviously, if this is true, because 4chan allegedly didn't have an updated version of PHP, there's a lot of vulnerabilities and exploits that exist. And using common, platforms like Metasploit, for instance, you can exactly, figure out, throw in a version, and it will just throw every single missile it can at it, and eventually something will go through, and that probably is how the Shardy ended up getting into 4chan. And there they sat dormant, they waited around, got everything they needed, until finally the 0 hour hit. They were able to go public with a lot of these hacks, and that's where we are today. Now,
great, gorgeous, amazing, fantastic. I don't really what is it? It is time. It is time. It is time. It is time, folks. We did not make it to a 2-hour mark, but that is just fine. I will. Yes, I'll be back at some point, folks. Okay? Fuck you. Okay? I'll be back. Okay? You can trust me. You don't trust me? You don't trust me? After all this time, we've been through so much, and you don't trust me right now. Do you know how deeply offended I am by that? Do you know how deeply offended I am by that? I'm very upset. You've really taken it too far this time, and I didn't expect to see such a broad face of disrespect towards my values and what I really wanted to, what stinks? What? It wasn't me, I swear. Oh, they're coming for, okay, I'm going, bye. Stop trolling. Bye, I'll talk to you later, see ya.